Hey everyone! Poland has an amazing story and you can see it everywhere you look. It's a story of tough times and good times, of never giving up and starting over. Let's start in Warsaw, the biggest city in Poland. It's a city that was almost completely destroyed in World War II, but look at it now. It's incredible how they rebuilt it. It shows how strong the people are. Walk around the old town, it's like stepping back in time. It's so beautiful and it's protected by UNESCO, which means it's super important. They rebuilt it brick by brick after the war. Then, there's the royal castle. Imagine kings and queens living there. Now it's a symbol of how proud Polish people are of their country. Outside of Warsaw, you can visit Auschwitz-Birkenau. It's a sad place, a reminder of a terrible time in history, the Holocaust. It's important to remember what happened there. Poland's history has had some dark days, but it made the country what it is today, strong and determined. Our adventure across Poland starts in Warsaw, the capital city. It's a place that shows us what it means to be strong and never give up. Picture a city almost totally wiped out, turned into piles of broken bricks and ash. But then, from all that destruction, it comes back to life even stronger and more amazing than before. Warsaw's story is one of great sadness, but also one of incredible comeback. Today, when you walk around Warsaw, you'll see a really cool mix of old and new things. Shiny skyscrapers reach way up high, showing how Poland is growing and changing, and right alongside them are carefully rebuilt old buildings reminding us of its awesome history. Warsaw is like a treasure hunt, waiting for you to explore its secrets and see for yourself the amazing spirit of this incredible city. Tracing the steps of history, the Old Town. It's super special, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. After World War II, it was rebuilt piece by piece, just like it used to be. Imagine walking on streets made of cobblestones, past buildings painted all sorts of bright colors. Every single building is a perfect copy of what stood there before the war. Right in the middle of the old town is Market Square. This place has seen so much history happen. Kings and queens, knights and soldiers, they've all walked here. Today it's still the place to be. You can find cafes, restaurants, and little shops all around. People who live in Warsaw and people visiting from all over love to hang out here. It's a great place to make some fun memories. As you walk through the little side streets and hidden courtyards, you'll find cozy cafes, little shops selling handmade things, and art galleries showing off amazing Polish art. The old town is like a time machine, the past and the present mixed together, and it's really magical. The heart of Warsaw. You absolutely to see the royal castle. It's like super important to Poland's history, and it shows just how tough Poland is. It stands tall in Castle Square, and wow, has it seen a lot? It started as a small wooden fort and became this huge fancy palace. When you go inside, it's like stepping back in time. Shiny rooms, big halls, and amazing art everywhere. Just imagine kings and queens walking these halls, secrets being whispered, and fancy parties happening all the time. Sadly, it was wrecked in World War II. It was a really sad reminder of all the damage, but guess what? Just like Warsaw, the castle was rebuilt. It shows how strong Poland is. Now it's a museum. You can see tons of cool stuff that tells the story of Poland's history and culture. So, we've seen the old town and the royal castle, right? Real blasts from the past, but Warsaw isn't stuck in the past, not at all. Look around. See those shiny skyscrapers? They show how much Poland has grown, how modern it's become. It's pretty cool how they stand right next to those old buildings, isn't it? It's like the past and the future, hanging out together. Now check out that really tall building. That's the Palace of Culture and Science. Some people love it, some people, well, not so much, but you can't deny it's a Warsaw landmark. Inside there are theaters, museums, movie theaters, and even a spot where you can see the whole city. And when you walk around Warsaw's newer areas, you'll find busy shopping malls, cool cafes, and restaurants with all sorts of new foods. It shows you how lively Warsaw is today. You know, that mix of old and new, that's what makes Warsaw so special. It shows how tough the city is, how it can change with the times, but still remember where it came from. Warsaw's city center is amazing with its mix of old and new, but if you go past the cobblestone streets, you'll find so much more. Warsaw has lots of different neighborhoods, each with its own special feel. Let's talk about Praga. It's on the other side of the Vistula River, and it's really changed a lot. It used to be a tough, factory kind of place. But now it's full of artists, musicians, and people with cool, creative businesses. Then there's Zoliborz, with its quiet, tree-lined streets. It's a whole different world. And there are other hidden gems all over Warsaw, just waiting to be discovered. So, if you want a real adventure, go beyond the city center. You'll be surprised by what you find. Okay, so next, we're heading south to Krakow. It's like the heart of Poland's culture. History, art, and legends all mixed together there to make it super special. Think of a city where things move a little slower. Where you still see horse-drawn carriages on those old cobblestone streets. It's like you can almost hear the whispers of old stories in the air. Krakow's charm isn't just its old buildings, which look amazing by the way. It's also that you can really the history and traditions there. When you walk around Krakow's winding streets, it's like going back in time. All those buildings around you, they've seen hundreds of years of Polish history. Now, unlike Warsaw, which had to be rebuilt after World War II, Krakow was mostly okay. So all those amazing old buildings are still there. Get ready to be amazed by Krakow. It's beautiful, it's full of stories, and it has this timeless magic that will totally grab you. Okay, so picture this. You're in Krakow's Old Town. Right in the middle is Rynek Glowny. It's huge. One of the biggest old market squares in all of Europe. It's like super cool and shows how awesome Krakow is. Imagine a really big open space. All around it are these bright, colorful buildings. They have all these fancy decorations and each one has like a secret story about the people who lived there a long time ago. Rynek Glowny started way back in the 1200s. It was where everyone went to buy stuff, hang out, and see cool things. And guess what? It's still like that today. People from Krakow and tourists from all over love to go to the cafes, restaurants, and shops. You can even ride in a horse-drawn carriage. It's super romantic and makes you feel like you've traveled back in time. Just imagine, you're sitting at a cafe, drinking some yummy Polish coffee, and just watching everyone walk by. That's when you really feel what Krakow is all about. It's a place where history isn't just in books, it's all around you. High up on a hill, overlooking the Vistula River, sits Wawel Castle. It's a super cool reminder of Poland's kings and queens and how strong Poland has always been. Think about a castle that's seen hundreds of years of Polish history. Kings and queens walked these halls, and inside you'll find amazing treasures. For a long time, Wawel Castle was where Polish royalty lived. It shows how Poland stayed together as one country, and it was a place where art and culture grew. As different kings and queens ruled, they changed the castle. You can see bits of old styles like Gothic and newer styles like Renaissance and Baroque. Now, Wawel Castle is a museum. You can go inside and see what life was like for Polish royalty. If you visit Krakow, you have to see Wawel Castle. It's magical. South of Krakow's Old Town, you'll find Kazimierz. It's a neighborhood with a really interesting story. For hundreds of years, Polish and Jewish people lived there together, side by side. They created something special, something powerful that we can still feel today. Think about it, a place where synagogues and churches are practically neighbors. Imagine the smells of Jewish cooking mixing with Polish folk music. Pretty cool, right? For a long time, Kazimierz was a busy center of Jewish life in Poland. A big, lively community lived there and helped shape Krakow's culture, ideas, and businesses. But World War II changed everything. It was a terrible time for Kazimierz. Thankfully, things are different now. Kazimierz is alive again. The synagogues have been fixed up, cafes and restaurants are full of people, and you can hear music and laughter on the streets again. Today, Kazimierz shows us how strong people can be. It's a place where we remember what happened and we celebrate the people who lived there. We remember all they did for Krakow. Beyond the city walls. But guess what? There's even more to Krakow outside the old city walls. It's a modern and exciting city, a place where the old ways meet the new. You'll find busy shopping malls and cool cafes, but also peaceful parks and green spaces. Krakow has something for everyone. One of the best ways to see modern Krakow is to walk along the Vistula River. You'll see locals and tourists hanging out in the parks, riding bikes, and relaxing at the cafes by the water. The river is really important to Krakow. It separates the city into different areas and makes a beautiful background for walks or a romantic boat ride. If you're hungry, Krakow has tons of great food. You can try traditional Polish restaurants with yummy pierogi and bigos, or check out the trendy cafes with new twists on classic dishes. Krakow's food is a mix of its history and new ideas, making a super tasty experience. So, whether you want a romantic walk by the river, a fun night out, or some quiet time in a park, exploring beyond the old city walls shows you a whole new side of Krakow. It's exciting and full of surprises. Wrocław, a city of bridges and tales. Next, we're off to Wrocław. Some people call it the Venice of Poland. Can you guess why? It has tons of canals and bridges. Wrocław is super charming and has a really interesting history. Picture this. You're walking on old cobblestone streets and the Oder River flows beside you. It's so peaceful. Wrocław is a city best explored on foot. That way you can find all the hidden courtyards, cute cafes, and amazing buildings. Every bridge you cross, every little island you see has a story to tell. Wrocław has a long and sometimes tough history with influences from Poland, Bohemia, and even Prussia. The main part of Wrocław is its market square. It's always busy and exciting. There are colorful houses all around and each one has its own story. You can try some yummy Polish food, find cool handmade crafts, or just watch the street performers. Wrocław is a really special place. It's a mix of old and new and it's super romantic. Get ready to fall in love. An island city's unique charm, the Oder River flows right through it, making all these little islands, each one special and cool. Think about walking across Wrocław's bridges. Each bridge is like a piece of art, and they connect all these islands. And the views? Amazing! You can see the whole city. One of the coolest islands is called Ostrotumski. It's the oldest part of Wrocław. It's also where you'll find the city's big, beautiful cathedral. Walking onto this island feels like going back in time. There are cobblestone streets, old gas lamps, and historic buildings everywhere. It's peaceful and kind of awe-inspiring. Another really neat island is Slodowa Island. A long time ago, it was a busy place for buying and selling things. Now it's where everyone goes for fun and culture. Imagine, you're walking by the river, maybe having a drink at a cafe or listening to a band play as the sun goes down. Pretty cool, right? Every island in Wrocław shows you a different side of the city. It's like each one has its own personality, just waiting for you to discover it. As you explore, you'll really start to understand Wrocław's history, its different kinds of buildings, and why everyone loves it so much. Okay, so you're in Wrocław? You can't leave without finding the city's cutest little guys, the Wrocław dwarfs. These little bronze statues are all over the place. Each one is different and super charming. They make exploring the city a fun treasure hunt. Now here's a cool story. These dwarfs come from Wrocław's fight against communism back in the 1980s. A group called the Orange Alternative used dwarfs as their symbol. They painted dwarf graffiti on walls to protest the government. Pretty clever, right? Today these little dwarf statues remind us of how Wrocław stood up for what's right and how much they love art. Each dwarf has its own story to tell. Some are about local legends, some about history, and some even show different jobs. So, when you're walking around Wrocław, keep an eye out. You might see a dwarf reading outside the library, playing music by the concert hall, or even having a drink at a pub. Finding one is always a fun surprise. It shows that even in a city with lots of history, there's always room for some fun and silliness. From the awesome city of Wrocław, let's head south to the impressive Tatra Mountains. This is where Poland's amazing nature really shines. Snuggled at the bottom of these tall mountains is Zakopane. People call it the winter capital of Poland. It's a place where exciting adventures and cool traditions come together perfectly. Imagine breathing in that fresh mountain air as you walk down Krupałki Street, the busy heart of Zakopane. You'll see wooden houses decorated with fancy carvings and bright flower boxes. These traditional buildings show off the area's rich history and culture. As you explore Zakopane, you'll meet the friendly Goral people. They're known for their special clothes, fun music, and welcoming smiles. Pop into one of the local restaurants and try some tasty mountain food. You could have ossipek, a yummy smoked cheese made from sheep's milk, or kwasnica, a tangy soup that will warm you right up. Zakopane is a place where you can relax in nature, learn about the local culture, and have some exciting adventures, all surrounded by beautiful mountains. A journey to the heart of the Tatras. So, you're in Zakopane? You can't leave without exploring the Tatra Mountains. They're like Poland's most beautiful natural treasure. Picture this: huge mountain peaks covered in green forests, clear lakes reflecting the blue sky, and waterfalls making a whooshing sound. It's time to put on your hiking boots and explore. There are trails all over these mountains, like a path through a beautiful garden. Every step you take shows you a stunning view, and every turn is like a new picture of nature's power and peace. If you like a challenge, there are some tough climbs waiting for you. And the reward? Amazing views from the top that will totally amaze you. Climb Mount Rysy, Poland's highest peak, and feel awesome standing above the clouds, looking down at the world. Whether you like a relaxing walk through a field of flowers, a tough climb up a mountain, or a ride on a cable car to see the whole view, the Tatra Mountains are super fun for everyone who loves nature. From those awesome mountaintops, let's go on an adventure underground. We're headed to a place where salt has made a magical world. Right outside Krakow, there's a super cool place called the Wieliczka Salt Mine. It's so special, it's on the UNESCO World Heritage List. It shows just how clever and artistic people can be. Picture this. You're going down, down, down into the earth. It gets colder and a little damp as you go deeper into the twisty tunnels. As your eyes get used to the darkness, get ready to be amazed. You'll see huge rooms all made of salt. The walls have amazing carvings, and there are even chandeliers made of salt crystals. There's even a lake underground that sparkles in the dim light. It's like a dream. The Wieliczka salt mine shows how hard miners worked underground for many, many years. Salt used to be worth more than gold. Today, this amazing place shows us their hard work and art. It's an underground world that will stick with you long after you leave. Alright, next stop on our Polish trip, Gdansk. It's way up north, right on the Baltic Sea. Think of it as a shiny amber gem, sparkling on the coast. Gdansk is super cool because it's got amazing stories of ships and sailors, beautiful buildings, and tons of fun things to do. It's a city that's just awesome. Picture this. You're walking down Długi Targ, which is like Gdansk's main street. There are these bright, colorful houses all around you, and if you look closely, you'll see all these cool designs carved into the walls. They tell stories about how rich and important Gdansk used to be. You can smell the salty air from the sea, hear the seagulls flying above, and hear people chatting in all different languages. As you walk around the old part of Gdansk, you'll see some really amazing buildings. There's the Golden House, which looks like something straight out of a fairy tale, and the Neptune Fountain, a big statue that shows everyone how important ships and sailors were to Gdansk. Gdansk is special because it's old and new at the same time. Everywhere you step, you feel like you're walking through history, and you can really feel how strong and brave the people of Gdansk are. Hey everyone, let's head to Gdansk, a city by the sea with a super cool history. When you walk along the waterfront, you can see how the ocean shaped it. The Motlawa River flows through the city, and it's lined with old buildings where they used to store stuff from ships. It reminds us that Gdansk was a busy port where people traded goods from all over. You've got to check out the Gdansk crane. It's a huge wooden structure they used to load and unload ships. It's a symbol of how clever the people of Gdansk were and how connected they were to the sea. There's also the Polish Maritime Museum, which is inside some really old storage buildings. Inside you can learn all about Gdansk's history with the ocean, from when it was a powerful trading city, to its part in the Solidarity movement, which helped end communist rule. As you explore Gdansk's waterfront, you'll really understand its strong spirit, its love for the sea, and its important place in history. We've seen exciting cities and cozy towns. Now let's explore Poland's wild side. Let's go to a place where time takes a break. Imagine a forest so old, so untouched, It feels like you're walking with dinosaurs. This is Bialowice Forest. It's so special it's protected by UNESCO. It's one of the last truly wild forests in Europe. It's full of amazing plants and animals, and it shows us how strong nature can be. When you walk into the forest, the air gets cool and fresh. You can smell the pine trees and the earth. Giant trees, some older than your grandparents, reach up to the sky. Their branches make a roof like a big church. The ground is covered in soft moss and leaves. It's quiet as you walk. All you can hear are the leaves whispering, the birds singing, and maybe a twig snapping under your feet. Here you can forget about everything else and just enjoy nature. Bialowice Forest is a magical place. It reminds us how important it is to protect our planet for everyone in the future. Deep inside Bialowice Forest lives a strong and majestic animal. This is the European bison, the biggest land animal in Europe. It almost went extinct, but now it's thriving here. Seeing these gentle giants up close is special. They remind us to protect all Earth's creatures. From the amazing forests in the east, let's head north to a place filled with sparkling lakes, green islands, and lots of peace and quiet. This is the Masurian Lake District, sometimes called the Land of 1,000 Lakes. It's a perfect spot for people who love the water, enjoy nature, or just want to get away from the busy city. Picture this. You're floating on a clear lake, a gentle breeze bringing the smell of pine trees and flowers. The sun feels warm on your face as you paddle a kayak through little waterways. All you hear is the quiet splash of the water and birds singing. The Masurian Lake District has tons of fun things to do in the water, like swimming, sailing, fishing, and windsurfing. You can also visit the cute towns and villages around the lakes. Their colorful houses sit right on the water's edge and show you a slower way of life. Whether you're looking for adventure or a relaxing time, the Masurian Lake District is a special and unforgettable place. It's where you can get back in touch with nature, rest up, and make memories that will stay with you forever. Our last stop takes us to the Owl Mountains. Picture this. A castle, like something out of a fairy tale, nestled among the trees on a hillside, looking out over a beautiful valley. That's Kisiaz Castle. People call it the Pearl of Lower Silesia, and it's easy to see why. It has huge walls, fancy towers, and it's just romantic. It started as a fort in the Middle Ages and became a fancy home for important families. It's got a mix of different building styles, making it even more interesting. It's like a history book, written in stone and wood. Inside, explore grand rooms filled with paintings, tapestries, and old furniture. Outside, walk through the huge gardens and enjoy the amazing views. Kisiaz Castle is a place where history and legends come together. It's the perfect ending to our trip through Poland. Poland's enduring spirit. As our trip through Poland ends, one thing stands out. Poland's never give up attitude. Throughout history, Poland has faced many tough times. Its borders have changed, cities destroyed, but the Polish spirit stayed strong. It shows how tough and determined Polish people are. Their traditions celebrate life and strength. A tapestry of experiences. It's a land of exciting differences, like a tapestry made with thousands of different threads. Each thread makes Poland special and interesting. We've climbed the amazing Tatra Mountains. Then we went deep down into the Wieliczka salt mine, an underground world of art made from salt. Think about the nights and battles those stone walls have seen. We've walked along the Baltic coast, breathing in the fresh, salty air. We've seen the incredible Bialowieza Forest, a magical place where really old trees have watched time go by. We've visited exciting cities like Warsaw and Krakow, full of life and energy. You'll find your own connection to this beautiful and strong country. Poland sits right in the middle of Europe. It's like a bridge between the East and the West. For centuries, different cultures have mixed together here. Poland is more than just a spot on the map. It's like the heart of Europe. It's strong, loves freedom, and holds on to its traditions. Poland shows what it means to believe in democracy, freedom, and sticking together. Think about the solidarity movement, and look at how Poland is helping Ukraine. Poland's mix of history, culture, and strong spirit makes it really special. Discover your own Poland. We just peeked at all the amazing things this country has. We saw big cities, learned about history, looked at beautiful nature, and met friendly people. But the best way to see Poland is to go there yourself. There are so many secret, cool places and stories just waiting for you. So, get ready for your own adventure in Poland. Walk the streets of Krakow's Old Town, try some yummy pierogi, relax by the Masurian lakes, or hike in the Tatra Mountains. Feel the friendly welcome from Polish people, learn about their traditions, and see how strong they are. Let Poland surprise you. Let it become your favorite place. A trip to Poland is something you'll remember forever. Your Polish adventure is waiting. Like and subscribe to Bamo Travels for more awesome trips. We're just getting started.